Okay, so picture this. Have you ever had that intense, gut-wrenching feeling where you honestly believe you did absolutely everything you could? I mean, you literally tried your hardest, you put in all the grueling hours, and still nothing worked out. You took the exam, but the result wasn't what you needed. You sent out that amazing proposal and you just got a cold rejection letter back. Or maybe you did all the hard work behind the scenes and somehow the credit went to someone else entirely. We've all been there, right?
And in that exact moment, there's this loud voice screaming from inside you. That should have been mine. I earned that. It was my right. And right there, you just kind of break. But here's the secret, and this is absolutely crucial. You don't actually collapse from the failure itself. No, you collapse from the visceral pain of questioning the sheer unfairness of it all. You're left asking, why me? Well, today in this explainer, we are going to look at a deeply profound psychological truth. This is something you probably never read in a traditional textbook or learned from a teacher. We're looking at the true hidden design of success. And I promise you, if you stick with me for the next few minutes, this might just completely flip the angle from which you view your entire life.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the fear of failure.
You know those mornings where you wake up, your motivation is completely at zero, you spend an hour scrolling on your phone, and then you realize you haven't actually done anything? We so often beat ourselves up and think we're just lazy. But the truth? Deep down, there's a terrifying question lurking in our minds. If I try with all my heart and I fail again, then what? In psychology, this is known as the fear of future negative events. You are so intensely terrified of future pain that you literally paralyze yourself right now in the present. You're not lazy, you're just scared.
And honestly, this fundamentally changes our whole understanding of exhaustion. We almost always assume we're burned out from just doing way too much. But Viktor Frankl, the renowned psychiatrist who survived the unimaginable horrors of Nazi concentration camps, he proved otherwise. When he had lost his family, his freedom, his entire future, he still survived. How? Because he found meaning in his suffering. Burnout doesn't actually come from overwork. It comes from working without meaning. When you're grinding solely for the end result and totally ignoring the process, a lack of results will entirely break you.
Moving right along, Section 2, Asli God's Plan, or the True Design.
So the crucial point here is how we react. When failure hits, people often just sigh and say, well, maybe it's just my destiny, maybe it's God's plan. And no, we definitely aren't talking about the Drake song here. But viewing your life through this lens of passive fatalism, just throwing your hands up and saying whatever happens, happens, that is incredibly dangerous. The true hidden design is about absolute high-output action combined with an active detachment from the outcome. You have to trust the process, not just obsess over the destination.
And you know, this really isn't some new age concept. In the ancient wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna to perform his duty without any attachment to the fruits of his actions. At first, Arjuna is super confused, like, why fight? Why work so incredibly hard if you aren't focused on the reward? But the logic is absolutely brilliant. When you detach from the outcome, 100% of your energy goes straight into the action itself. You give your absolute best simply because you aren't being drained by the anxiety of the result.
And hey, modern science backs this up beautifully. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck's groundbreaking research on mindsets proves exactly this point. People with a fixed mindset are totally obsessed with immediate outcomes and results, and they just crumble when they hit a wall. But folks with a growth mindset, they focus entirely on the process. And as the data shows, in the long run, the process-focused individuals consistently outperform the outcome-obsessed ones, every single time.
All right, let's step it up. Section 3, the power of detachment. Some of the absolute greatest minds in human history practice this precise method of detachment to get through unimaginable hardships. Just look at Stoicism, the philosophy championed by the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. In his meditations, his core philosophy was simple but powerful. Control what you can, accept what you cannot. This right here is the modern practical application of trusting that hidden design. You do your absolute best, you put your entire soul into your work, and the rest, you simply have to let it go.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. Section 4, rejection is redirection. Because let's be totally honest for a second, the thing you did not get was so often withheld simply to protect you or to push you towards something far, far greater. The historical proof of this is undeniable. I mean, think about it. APJ Abdul Kalam missed a pilot seat by exactly one spot, but that painful rejection redirected him to become the missile man of India. MS Dhoni was a laughed-at railway ticket collector before he brought India 3 World Cups.
Lakpande's brutal comedy rejections polished him into a massive viral sensation. In mythology, Ram's 14-year exile seemed totally unfair at the time, but it directly led to the defeat of Ravan. Even in anime, Naruto's isolation gave him the intense hunger he needed to become the strongest shinobi. And Steve Jobs, he was literally fired from Apple, but that failure led him to create Pixar and eventually return to launch the iPhone revolution.
Every single one of these examples proves one profound truth. Your pain isn't breaking you, it's actively shaping you. It's like a forge. And please notice, not a single person on that list used destiny as a lame excuse to sit on the couch and do nothing. They worked with massive force. They just remained completely detached from the final outcome.
So let's put this into practice. Section 5, 5 Steps to Trust.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? Philosophical theory is great and all, but you need tools. Here are 5 highly actionable steps you can use to conquer your obstacles right now. Step 1. Define your action. Stop making plans for results and start making plans for actions. Say, I'm going to study for 1 solid hour instead of I will pass this exam. Focus only on what you can control. Step 2. Redirect rejection. When you inevitably get a no, actively ask yourself, okay, where is this pushing me? Just like Dr. Kalam did. Step 3. Mix gratitude and trust. Every single morning, write down just one thing you're grateful for. Neuroscience actually shows this rewires your brain's neural pathways to operate from a place of abundance rather than fear. Step 4. Treat pain as a teacher. Buddhism teaches that suffering isn't a punishment, it's instruction. So don't run from it. Ask, what is this trying to teach me right now? And finally, Step 5. Shift your mindset. Wake up and tell yourself, I will do my absolute best today, and the rest is taken care of. When you finally let go of trying to control the outcome, you actually unlock the most powerful version of yourself.
Actually, I want to slow down for just a second to share this absolutely incredible quote from the poet Rumi. He said, "Live where you fear to live. Destroy your reputation. Be notorious." What he means here is that the very things you are most terrified of facing, those are exactly where your true path lies. Leaning into that fear without constantly worrying about how you look to others if you fail, well, that is the ultimate freedom.
So what does this all mean? The ultimate takeaway from the source material in this explainer, the realization we can all share as we look back at our setbacks is this. What you didn't get was protecting you. What you got is preparing you. And what is coming, that is going to define you. Trust the process. Do your work entirely and have the absolute courage to just let go of the result. Because what is truly yours can never, ever be taken away. And what wasn't yours was never meant for you to begin with. We are all part of a much larger, incredibly beautiful design.
I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Think about your own life. What is something you desperately wanted that you didn't get, which actually turned out to be a massive blessing in disguise? Really think about it. Let us know down in the comments because I absolutely love reading your stories and seeing how this connects with you all. If this explainer shifted your perspective even a little bit today, make sure to engage. Maybe share this with a friend who really needs to hear it right now. And above all, keep trusting your process. I'll catch you in the next one.